You sent an email, it had a link, visitors come to the website, bounce rate, pages per visit, time on site, or you made an ad. That ad attracts traffic, people come to the website, but what about the engagement metrics, or did they convert? You don't know the answers to these questions unless you add campaign tracking code to those links. That code is called UTM parameters, and it's added to links using a tool called a URL builder. This video will show you step by step how to add campaign tracking code to links and how to measure the effectiveness of those campaigns using Google Analytics. Hi, my name is Andy Crestadina. I'm here at Orbit Media Studios. We're a web design company here in Chicago. This video will break down the step-by-step process for you. And as usual, if you're watching this on YouTube, just expand the description. You'll find a link to an article that goes through the entire process. And in this case, a link to a URL builder that will help you add campaign tracking codes super easy, fast, free to your own links to your own website. Okay, let's jump right in. Your email service provider gives you data such as the delivery rate, the open rate, and the click-through rate, but it does not tell you about how many visits you got from that email, or the bounce rate, or time on page, pages per visit, or the conversion rate from those emails. Those are all in your analytics. Similarly, in social media, you get all kinds of metrics like shares, likes, comments, even click-through rate, but you do not get the actual recorded traffic from social media, or the bounce rate, or time on page, or the conversion rate from any of that traffic at all. That data is in your analytics. If you don't use campaign tracking code, it's especially a problem, a big problem in email, because email is not one of the so-called default channel groupings that you see inside your all traffic channels report. It just shows direct and social and organic and referral. Where are your email visitors? The answer is they're kind of hiding in both the referral and the direct buckets, but if you use campaign tracking code, they get their own default channel grouping and you'll be able to see them right there. Without campaign tracking code, you'll never actually know the impact of all that effort, all that work that you're doing in email marketing on your actual website traffic. Here's how it works. You send an email. Here's a screenshot of an email that we sent. This is our every other week newsletter. This was an article about finding your branded keywords. It's like an SEO thing, kind of an awesome article, useful, important. So if you click on a link in this, any of the links in this that go to our website will take you to the page, and at the end of that link, up there in the address bar, you're going to see a whole bunch of extra stuff. Those are called parameters. It's 3 different little chunks of information that tells analytics that this visitor came from that click. That campaign drove this specific visit, because there would never be this extra code in the URL unless the person had clicked on that link. Let's take a closer look at that link. Okay, I've copied and pasted it into this. It's too small to see there, so I'm going to break it down and deconstruct campaign tracking code for you. It looks like this. I've kind of wrapped the line here so you can see. So the top part there is the link. That's the destination. The page, that's where you go. The next thing you see is a question mark, which indicates that this is the beginning of a string of parameters. The next one is the source. The source is the specific origin of the traffic. It starts with UTM underscore source equals. That is the specific origin of traffic. The next parameter is medium. Medium is the broader origin of traffic, such as email or social or paid. Finally, the third parameter is the campaign name. Whatever you named it, anything that you called it, that's the campaign name. Now, how did I get all this extra code at the end of that link? The answer is with a URL builder. We put one on our site. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, just click on the description and you'll find a link in there to our URL builder. There's a bunch of these out there. They're all free. They all basically do the same thing. What you do is you put in the top field here the link, the destination, the place that you're sending the visitor. Only matters if it's going to your site, because you can't see analytics for other people's websites. And then you'll put in the campaign source, such as July newsletter. The campaign medium. In our URL builder, we do it with little radio buttons, so it forces you to choose one, because there's really only so many that you should be choosing from. These are kind of a standard thing. And then the third thing that you put in is the campaign name. Whatever you're calling, that specific effort that you took to drive visitors to that page. Okay? You can put in anything you want. Whatever you put in there is going to appear in analytics. In fact, scroll down in our URL builder, it actually is going to give you a preview of the campaign report. kind of fun. You can see whatever you put in above is going to show you that down there below. Now, it's important to be organized when you do these things and use standards, as in naming conventions, because you're in the end not going to be the only person who ever uses this analytics account. You're going to collaborate hopefully with other people. So here are some standards for campaign tracking codes. Medium for a newsletter. Medium is email. The source might be MailChimp. My friend Chris Mercer suggests using the brand that sent the traffic, like MailChimp, or in our case we just use newsletter. And then the campaign name, the specific newsletter, such as April newsletter. Medium, source, campaign. Broadest origin of traffic, specific origin of traffic, and the name of the specific effort. Facebook ad. Medium, CPC. Source, Facebook, campaign name, spring sale. A Twitter campaign. Medium, cost per thousand or CPM. Source, Twitter, campaign name, event _ registration. Right? You can't put spaces, of course. We're going to use underscores instead of spaces. And we also should not use uppercase. Always use lowercase letters because it matters and it will show up differently in analytics. So make sure that you're setting everything as lowercase. If you use the campaign builder that I recommended a minute ago, that's going to force lowercase throughout. Okay. So now when you go into analytics, in the acquisition reports, there's a section for campaigns. Click on all campaigns and you get campaign data. This section is blank if you've never added campaign tracking code. If you have added campaign tracking code, this section lights up. There's going to be all kinds of interesting data in here, and this is going to connect that dot between that initial marketing effort and what happened to the visitor after they landed. This is the list on the left. The primary dimension, or that first column, is the list of all the campaign names that have ever sent traffic to this website during this date range. In our case, these are all email. Almost all of them are email campaigns. Look at the trend line at the top. You can see this is what our email traffic looks like. We get a spike in traffic every time we send a newsletter. Some more than others. I can actually see at a glance in this report which of these campaigns led to the greatest number of visitors, the most engaged visitors, lowest bounce rate, highest pages per session, highest average session duration, even the highest conversion rate. Some of these led to much higher conversion rates than others. Now, I want to warn you while we're here that against one thing, which is adding campaign tracking code to internal links. Not what it's meant for. Never, never do that. If you put campaign tracking code on one link from one of your pages to another, in other words, not on an external link somewhere else on the internet, but between your pages, it will overwrite the actual source of that visitor, which might have been search or direct or social or something else. It's not meant for tracking traffic between your own pages. If you want to track that, great. You get that data other places anyway. You get it in the navigation summary. We made a different video about that. Click the link or look through the channel in YouTube. Here's what it looks like in practice. So I've got an article here that I'm going to promote with an email newsletter. So I'm going to take the link of this article and put it into the campaign builder, the URL builder. Here's the address. The campaign source I'm going to call April 16-newsletter. Medium is email. Use one of these radio buttons. And the campaign name is called Rebound Playbook. That's the topic of the article. It's 26 ways to get ready for the rebound. Cool. Okay, so now this just made a new URL for me. I just click copy this URL, it put it on my clipboard, and now in my email service provider, we use ActiveCampaign, I'm going to use this as the link when people come to the website. So here it is in the newsletter. We copied and pasted that URL into our email service provider, which is ActiveCampaign. So now when people click this link, they land on the page, and it's not just the link and the URL, it includes all of the campaign tracking code, which indicates which link they clicked on. Google Analytics can see this, and now it gets reported on inside my analytics. It's under Acquisition, Campaign, All Campaigns, and whatever I put in as the campaign name is going to appear for me in the first column of this chart. There it is, Rebound Playbook. This, by the way, is what your trend line should look like if you're properly tracking your newsletter traffic, because every time you send an email, you get a little spike. So how well did that perform in the website engagement post-click? Here it is, 1,700 visits, average bounce rate of 81%, pages per session, 1.3, 1 minute 16 second average duration, about average. The conversion rate from that was about 1%. So 27 people who came from that link to this website took some sort of action, became a lead or a newsletter subscriber. None of that data would have been there had I not added the campaign tracking code. One last thing that I think goes really well with campaign tracking is adding notes into analytics that show what happened on a specific date. They're called annotations. They're just these little dots that appear on the trend line that when you click on them, it shows you whatever note you made on that date. So to add, you can also just expand this to see them all for whatever date range you're on. That little drawer you open up down there. And then just click to add a new annotation to say what happened then. For example, there was a newsletter, and then put the name of the newsletter. Other reasons to use annotations. First was you sent an email campaign. Another is you changed your advertising. You stopped, changed, or started advertising. Or maybe there was a press hit. Something went viral. What's that spike about? Years later, people will be able to go look back and see just by clicking to that little dot, that little bubble to see the annotation you put on that date. Or maybe you made a major website change. Maybe you added a section. Maybe you moved things around. Maybe it was a redesign. Or you changed the analytics setup thing. Like you added a filter to filter out traffic from your own site. Recorded traffic went down by 10%. Of course, that was just traffic from yourself, so it doesn't really count. But you don't want to have to go back and explain later. So adding annotations is a great way to communicate with other people on your team. Makes you a good collaborator, which is part of being a good analyst. Great. That's it. Statistics show that 1 in 3 marketers actually don't know what their most effective channel is. You won't be one of those marketers as long as you add this code to your links. We hope you found this useful. If you know anybody else who you think would get value from this, we'd be thrilled if you'd pass this along. And again, this is Andy from Orbit. We'll keep making these. Subscribe if you want to get the next one as soon as it comes out, and we'll see you next time.